Shaquille O'Neal does this thing where he talks a lot of trash about a lot of players in the league today.
He don't play, he gotta sit his ass down. Period. You got baby, that's why you ain't win.
But you don't have what it takes to get to the next level. I'm gonna knock your ass out.
Not true what you're saying. It's not true what you're saying.
So where did this Shaq-attack on today's generation come from? I mean, why is Shaq so angry? It actually goes back to the 90s. That's right, Shaq cooked up his first beef in the Space Jam era. It started with this guy named David Robinson, someone probably a lot of you young TikTok and NBA fans never heard of. For you guys, just know they called this guy the Admiral. He was tough, 10-time All-Star, 2-time champion, a 7-footer who won both the Defensive Player of the Year and a scoring title. He was the standard for centers. Then Shaq came, a fiery athlete who loved the spotlight so much it loved him back. Shaq was so good and so funny that people literally couldn't get enough of him. They needed the commercials and the movies and the icy hot. Then one day, someone suggested that Robinson was jealous of Shaq's off-court success. David Robinson, the guy served in the Navy. He was a devout man of faith, his rep was clean, his demeanor was humble. And so his response to Shaq was, "There is nothing you have that I want." And he played like that. So, as you can tell, Shaq and David were basically opposites. They were their own planets with contrasting styles and personalities. And sometimes planets collide. On April 29th, 1994, going into the last game of the season, Shaq was on pace to win the league scoring title in just his second season. He wanted this bad. He had 33 more points than the next highest scorer, who was David Robinson, and the Spurs were well aware of this, so they force-fed Robinson the ball throughout the game, like Kobe in his last game kind of force-feed. Shaq finished with 32 points, Robinson had 71. That game was meaningless, but the Spurs were gunning for the scoring title and for Shaq. And just wait, it gets better. In 2001, Shaq claimed that when he was a high schooler in San Antonio, he idolized David Robinson. But when he asked for an autograph, Robinson quote-unquote rudely denied him. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, Team Shaq all the way. That is messed up, David. Except it was a big lie. Years later, after he retired, Shaq admitted that the whole story of Robinson being rude to him was just made up.
The way I have heard it, probably from you, was that he stiffed you for an autograph when you were a kid.
It's not true. I made it all up. Mr. Robinson, I apologize.
He was just trying to motivate himself to find a reason to fight Robinson, you know, taking it personally on some MJ shit. Now, of course, Shaq has since apologized and moved on, but Robinson was just the first beef on his menu. One of the easiest targets was Dwight Howard, the man who copied Shaq. Drafted by the Orlando Magic, became one of the best big men in the league, joined the Lakers, teamed up with Kobe. In many ways, people were talking about him as Shaq's replacement. In 2009, Dwight Howard became the all-star starting center in the East, an honor Shaq earned 3 years in a row before he moved back west. But that probably didn't bother him as much as what happened in 2008. The year that Dwight Howard was chosen for the slam dunk contest, and in that contest, Dwight stripped into a Superman costume, flew above the rim, threw it down like Zeus in a thunderstorm, and suddenly Dwight Howard was quote-unquote Superman, which annoyed Shaq, the OG Superman, the Superman who had the logo on his arm, dominated the league for a decade and won titles to earn that nickname, and now Dwight all of a sudden has it after a few dunks and a cape? Then, someone, I don't know who, but somebody asked Shaq if Dwight was going to become Shaq 2.0. Shaq, with no emotion, said, "There would never be another me." And he put Superman Dwight into the ground. The next time they faced, Shaq arrived to the game wearing a Superman t-shirt. He talked to the media about his 4 rings and also pointed out that Dwight had none. Then in 2009, when Dwight reached the NBA Finals, Shaq reportedly wanted him to get swept because in 1995, he got swept in the finals on the Magic. Dwight won 1 game, Shaq remembered he had 4 rings and then just moved on. But it was after he retired, when Shaq joined Inside the NBA on TNT, that his trash talk took on another level. And this brings us to Shaqtin' a Fool, a brilliant segment from the Emmy-winning show. Its host, Mr. Shaquille O'Neal, who makes fun of boneheaded plays and boneheaded players on a daily basis. But for Shaq, this segment became his weapon for hilarious trash talk. And his favorite victim?
JaVale! McGee. JaVale McGee.
It's our boy JaVale McGee.
This is a fact. We did the research. No player has appeared more on Shaqtin' a Fool than JaVale McGee. Even Shaq crowned him Shaqtin' a Fool MVP twice. McGee was a 7-foot athletic freak of nature, but he was a walking source of content for the Shaqtin' commissioner. Shaq took his botched dunks and dribble fails and made sure we never forgot them. They could have been SportsCenter, not top 10s. We saw them once and never talked about them again. Shaq made them immortal memes. The McGee bit was such a big hit that Shaq would take every opportunity he could to laugh at the 3-time champ. At one point, they got into it on Twitter, where Shaq even threatened to quote-unquote smack him. It got so hilariously ridiculous that the Warriors, who McGee then played for, reached out to the league to put an end to the Shaq-JaVale feud. But that's not what made Shaq stop. It was his mom. Mama O'Neal told her son to stop, and then Mama McGee came in and called Shaqtin' a Fool a form of bullying. From that day on, JaVale became Shaq's favorite player, meaning Shaq had to find someone else to make fun of. But that's kind of the point, isn't it? There will always be someone else. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert certainly weren't the first, and they won't be the last. Whether it's your contract, your bloopers, your nicknames, or your stats, Shaq will be the gatekeeper to greatness. Hopefully, his beef will stay playful and nobody gets hurt, but we doubt it.
I got 3 finals MVP, Chuck.
Because you
Google me, Chuck. You see that?
Everybody
Google
know
me.
you're a great player.